Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayesha Bhadresha Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhakti Nashtake. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 8, Attaining the Supreme, text 23. So previous verse, Krishna talked about, previous 2-3 verses, he talked about his supreme abode. And he's saying that one who reaches it, he doesn't come back again. So how to reach it and when to reach it? Yatra kale tvannavrittim mavrittim chaiva yoginam prayata yanti katam kalam vakshyami bharatarisha. O best of the Bharats, I shall now explain to you the different times at which, passing away from this world, the yogi does or does not come back. So there is auspicious time also. The unalloyed devotees of the Supreme Lord, who are totally surrendered souls, do not care when they leave their bodies or by what method. They leave everything in Krishna's hands and so easily and happily return to Godhead. But those who are not unalloyed devotees and who depend instead on such methods of spiritual realization as karma yoga, jnana yoga, and hatha yoga, must leave the body at a suitable time and thereby be assured whether or not they will return to the world of birth and death. If the yogi is perfect, he can select the time and situation for leaving this material world. But if he is not so expert, his success depends on his accidentally passing away at a certain suitable time. The suitable times at which one passes away and does not come back are explained by the Lord in the next verse. According to Acharya Baldev the Sanskrit word Kala used herein refers to the presiding deity of time. So what Kal means? Presiding deity of time. So when they leave, just like Prabhupada talks about the yogis, they can select if the yogi is perfect. Just like Bhishma Dev, he selected his time. He was on the bed of arrows for about 56 days, it says. And when when sun went to Uttarayan and Makar Sankranti, so that was the day when he left his body. But since he is a Mahajan, he's a great devotee of the Lord himself was present when he was, not just the Lord. There were sages from all over the universe who had come there when Bhishma Dev was leaving. But just to point out that he was such a great yogi also that he could select time and situation when he was going to leave the material world. Agnir Jyotir Aharshukla Shanamasa Uttarayanam Tatra Prayata Gachanti Brahma Brahma Vido Jana. Those who know the Supreme Brahma attain that Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of the fiery God. In the light, at an auspicious moment of the day, during the fortnight of the waxing moon, or during the 6 months when the sun travels in the north. So it's not just everybody who dies when the sun is in the north 6 months, he will attain Supreme. No. Those who know the Supreme Brahma, means the yogis. This is for yogis, not just for karmis or anybody else. So when fire, light, day, and the fortnight of the moon are mentioned, it is to be understood that over all of them, there are various presiding deities who make arrangements for the passage of the soul. At the time of death, the mind carries one on the path to a new life. If one leaves the body at the time designated above, either accidentally or by arrangement, it is possible for him to attain the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. Mystics who are advanced in yoga practice can arrange the time and place to leave the body. Others have no control. If by accident they leave at an auspicious moment, then they will not return to the cycle of birth and death. But otherwise, there is every possibility that they will have to return. However, for the pure devotee in Krishna consciousness, there is no fear of returning, whether he leaves the body at an so-called auspicious or inauspicious moment, by accident or by arrangement. So for devotees, these cases don't matter. Further, Dhumo Ratris Tatha Krishna Shanumasa Dakshinayanam Tatra Chandram Masam Jyotir Yogi Prapya Nivartate. The mystic who passes away from this world during the smoke, the night, the fortnight of the waning moon, or the 6 months, when the sun passes to the south, reaches the moon planet, but again comes back. In the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Kapil Muni mentions that those who are expert in fruitive activities and sacrificial methods on earth attain to the moon at death. These elevated souls live on the moon for about 10,000 years by demigod calculations and enjoy life by drinking somras. They eventually return to earth. This means that on the moon there are higher classes of living beings, though they may not be perceived by the gross senses, by our gross senses. So there are higher classes. Means a yogi, he reaches moon if he leaves the body at the wrong time. And how can we expect some astronauts to go to moon in some mechanical equipment? No way. Moon is one of the heavenly planets. So these are all stories made up over here. We went to moon. And Shukla Krishna gati hi ete jagata shashvate mate ekya yati anavritim anyaya vartate punah. According to Vedic opinion, there are 2 ways of passing from this world, one in light and one in darkness. When one passes in light, he does not come back. But when one passes in darkness, he returns. The same description of departure and return is quoted by Acharya Valdeva Vidyabhushan. Those who are fruitive laborers and philosophical speculators from time immemorial are constantly going and coming. Actually, they do not attain ultimate salvation, for they do not surrender to Krishna. And that is a problem. And we think, and also like in India, this is a common saying, oh, Swargiya so and so. Well, are we sure he is a Swargiya or she is a Swargiya? Are we sure about that? Of course, we like to like them to have gone to at least the heavenly abode, if not above, but not sure, not according to the scriptures. So the point is, bhakti. Actually, we should be worried. We should be preparing, not just for how are we going to live, but how are we going to leave the body, how are we going to die. It's not just, oh, living here, eating, drinking, and being merry, and that's it, we have lived our life. Oh, no. Not just that, but what is going to happen after death? And we all are going to die, that's for sure. So what is going to happen? Why we are not even thinking about it? People don't even want to talk about it. Think about it. No, it's not just anything will happen, whatever. No, everything is in the scriptures. So we should be able to see through the eyes of the scriptures and then act accordingly or properly. And no matter what kind of justification we give while we are living for our actions, we can give. People talk so rubbish. There is no justification in the court of Yamaraj. No lawyers there, no dates, nothing. He knows everything. He has his own team. Chitragupta and his team is there to keep track of every living entity's actions and the words, thoughts, everything they know. And they decide accordingly. Can't run away from Yamaraj. So that is why it is so amazing. The people keep on committing sins, they keep on cheating others, and all sorts of nonsense, kind of food we eat, and kind of activities we do, thinking, oh, nobody saw me, nobody caught me, I didn't get punished, so I was okay. It's not a sin. It's not that it's not a sin, or Krishna hasn't seen, or Yamraduta or Chitragupta hasn't seen it. Chitragupta is just keeping record of what we are doing. Krishna, as Paramatma, he is seeing everything. It just, he doesn't punish us right away because he still gives us a chance to rectify our mistakes. That's his merciful nature. It's not like if we are eating non-veg, and as soon as we put one piece of meat in our mouth, and Yamdutas are there to just chop our head off. If they did that, then nobody would be eating meat. But they don't right away give the punishment. Because Krishna still wants to give us a chance to rectify, to take the right path. That's why here he says, Sarva dharman pariteja mam ekam sharanam raja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo. I will relieve you of all the sins. Do not worry, ma shucha. Not just sarva pape, relieve you of those sins, they'll give you moksha. You're ready to give liberation. Moksha shyami. But we are so ignorant and so much involved in our hedonistic lifestyle. We don't want to even think about leaving anything. No way. And then I mean, talking to people and then learn their mentality. Oh, ऐसे ही चलता है जी, ऐसे ही होते रहना है. भगवान चाहते हैं मैं ये करूं. No, Bhagwan doesn't want you to eat meat and do all sorts of nonsense. It's our desire. Krishna just sanctions it, that's all. And then we suffer. Tremendous suffering is there. And the argument, oh, who has seen what is going to happen after death? And so who cares? Just enjoy now. Well, why? I mean, to them I ask, why do you keep money in your bank account, in your fixed deposits, or wherever you invested? Oh, it's for my old age. Have you seen your old age? I mean, are you sure you're going to get old and die? Maybe you're going to die tomorrow. Why not just spend all your money right now? I said, this is what you're investing for your old age, but what are you doing to invest for your better life, next life? Right now, whatever life you got because of your karmas you got. Where is your investment for the next life? Investing for your old age, and which we are not sure, but next life, definitely you're going to get. people are so ignorant, or they just don't care. They don't want to even listen. Nati sriti partha janan yogi muyati kashana tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yoga yukto bhavarjana. Although the devotees know these two paths, these two means whether to leave the body in when the sun is in Uttarayan or the sun is in Dakshinayana. O Arjun, they are never bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion. Krishna is here advising Arjun that he should not be disturbed by the different paths the soul can take when leaving the material world. A devotee of the Supreme Lord should not worry whether he will depart by the arrangement or by accident. The devotee should be firmly established in Krishna consciousness and chant Hare Krishna. He should know that concern over either of these two paths is troublesome. The best way is to be absorbed in Krishna consciousness, is to be always dovetailed in his service. And this will make one's path to the spiritual kingdom safe, certain, and direct. So this is what bhakti does. And bhakti in Kali Yuga pretty much is chanting of the holy names. And Prabhupada says, this will make one's path. Oh, I got kicked out. So this will make one's path direct, safe, certain, and direct to Krishna Lok. The word Yoga Yukta is especially significant in this verse. One who is firm in yoga is constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness in all his activities. Sri Rupa Goswami advises, Anasaktasya Vishayan Yatharham Upayunjita. One should be unattached in material affairs and do everything in Krishna consciousness. By this system, which is called Yukta Vairagya, one attains perfection. Therefore, the devotee is not disturbed by these descriptions because he knows that his passage to the supreme abode is guaranteed by devotional service. So this is the guarantee that Prabhupada is giving and Krishna is giving, Mahaprabhu has given. So we should be steadfast, determined, dedicated in our devotion service, and rest assured, it will give us the best destination. Even if we haven't completely purified ourselves, the next life we'll live wherever we are. We'll start wherever we live in this life. So engagement in bhakti yoga is one is never at loss, never. Vedeshu yagyeshu tapasu chaiva daneshu yat punyaphalam pradishtam atyeti tat sarvam idam vitatva yogi param sthanam upayati chadyam. A person who accepts the path of devotion service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end, he reaches the supreme eternal abode. See, bhakti, this is what bhakti is. Everything is included in this. This verse is a summation of the 7th and 8th chapters, which particularly deal with Krishna consciousness and devotions. One has to study the Vedas under the guidance of the spiritual master and undergo many austerities and penances while living under his care. A brahmachari has to live in the home of the spiritual master just like a servant, and he must beg alms from door to door and bring them to the spiritual master. He takes food only under the master's order. And if the master neglects to call the student for food that day, the student fasts. These are some of the Vedic principles for observing brahmacharya. Some, not all. There are many more. So much of austerity for what? To make progress spiritually. Because people understood the value of progress in spiritual life in previous ages. And that's why they would send their kids to Gurukul to become a brahmachari. And it's not that the guru is there to take advantage of these children. He would train them properly. And seeing the inclination of every child. So Vanprasthasha means guna and karma, depends on guna and karma. So guna, the qualities of every child, then the inclination is there. Then the guru would train him accordingly, whether the boy is going to be Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, or Brahman. It is the qualities he would see and train. And that is why the children would go to the Gurukul. and since these four varnas and ashrams Krishna has created, means there is possibility to make spiritual advancement in every ashram. And according to one's qualities, if one leads one's life, he will be peaceful. He will be, he'll be happy in carrying out his duties and make spiritual progress at the same time. It's just like it is said in the scriptures, the Shudras are not supposed to read scriptures, or they're not allowed. Why? Shudras don't mean caste Shudras, that this is our brain working. No. So Shudras, because their duty or their inclination, and every society has all the four varnas. Shudra, their inclination is to serve the other three classes. So he is trained in this way. Not that he is going to be taken granted for by the other three ashram, by the other three varnas, or he would be treated as a slave. No. Brahman, Kshatriya, and Vaishyas, they would take care of their servants very nicely. They're not supposed to study scriptures, not because they cannot. And if they study, they'll misinterpret and misapply those teachings. But there is no restriction on them in serving the Brahmins or Kshatriyas. There's no such restriction. If the Brahman is doing yajna, they would bring all the material and prepare the yajna shala and help Brahmins to do the yajnas. Only thing is, not supposed to chant the mantras, because Brahmins are only supposed to chant. So if the society was such created by the Lord himself for everybody's spiritual growth, everything went down. After, even in Kali Yuga, these things were going on nicely, but after Muslims came and then the British came to India, everything went down. So similarly, brahmacharis or different ashrams, so they would go learn under the Guru, proper system of brahmacharya, and it is also said, Prabhupada said someplace, one who is a properly trained brahmachari, if he wants to get married, then he becomes the best of the grihasthas. And if he doesn't, then he becomes one prasti and then sannyas. But to be a grihastha, one has to be trained as a brahmachari. The grihastha doesn't mean, again, to exploit. one's life and to exploit the conditions of Grihastha life. No, it's again an ashram. So ashram means where one makes progress spiritually. So one has to be trained properly. So these are the trainings Brahmachari had to go through. After the student studies the Vedas under the master for some time, at least from age 5 to 20, he becomes a man of perfect character. Study of the Vedas is not meant for the recreation of armchair speculators, but for the formation of character. This is what the purpose of study of Vedas. And Prabhupada says nicely, it's not meant for the recreation of armchair speculators. Armchair speculators with whiskey in one hand and smoking, and then thinking that I know Vedas and I can comment on Vedas and study any shloka Veda and try to find faults in it. That's their whole purpose. But this is not what Vedas are. It's for the formation of character. After this training, the brahmachari is allowed to enter into household life and marry. When he is a householder, he has to perform many sacrifices so that he may achieve further enlightenment. He must also give charity according to the country, time, and candidate, discriminating among charity in goodness, in passion, and in ignorance, as described in the Bhagavad Gita. Then, after retiring from household life, upon accepting the order of Vanpras, they undergo severe penances, living in forests, dressing with tree bark, not shaving, etc. By carrying out the orders of brahmacharya, of householder life, Vanpras, and finally sannyas, one becomes elevated to the perfection stage of life. Some are then elevated to the heavenly kingdoms. And when they become even more advanced, they are liberated in the spiritual sky, either in the impersonal Brahmajyoti or in the Vaikuntha planets of Krishna Yoga. This is the path outlined by Vedic literatures, and everybody can make progress. Everybody means everybody in the human form of life. Now, Krishna consciousness, what Prabhupada says. The beauty of Krishna consciousness, however, is that by one stroke, by engaging in devotional service, one can surpass all the rituals of the different orders of. But that doesn't mean there should not be any austerity even in bhakti. There should be. Austerity is getting up early, chanting 16 rounds minimum, following the principles, offering our bhoga to the deities, and then accepting the prasadam. There are austerities. Austerities are for our purification, that's all. So we should perform. Of course, when one enjoys this life, then these are not austerities. This gives one pleasure, even so-called austerities. The words idam viditva indicate that one should understand the instructions by Shri Krishna in this chapter and the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. One should try to understand these chapters, not by scholarship or mental speculation, but by hearing them in the association of devotees. Chapters 7 through 12 are the essence of Bhagavad Gita. The first 6 and the last 6 chapters are like coverings for the middle 6 chapters, which are specially protected by the Lord. If one is fortunate enough to understand Bhagavad Gita, especially these middle 6 chapters, in the association of devotees, then his life at once becomes glorified beyond all penances, sacrifices, charities, speculations, etc. For one can achieve all the results of these activities simply by Krishna consciousness. So everything is achieved by Krishna consciousness. One who has a little faith in Bhagavad Gita should learn Bhagavad Gita from a devotee, because in the beginning of the 4th chapter it is stated clearly that Bhagavad Gita can be understood only by devotees. Because Krishna said, Bhaktosi me sakha chayati, you are my devotee and my dear friend, so I am giving you this knowledge. No one else can perfectly understand the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. One should therefore learn Bhagavad Gita from a devotee of Krishna, not from mental speculators. This is a sign of faith. When one searches for a devotee and fortunately gets a devotee's association, one actually begins to study and understand Bhagavad Gita. By advancement in the association of devotees, one is placed in devotional service, and this service dispels all one's misgivings about Krishna or God and Krishna's activities, form, pastimes, name, and other features. After these misgivings have been perfectly cleared away, one becomes fixed in one's study. Then one relishes the study of Bhagavad Gita and attains a state of feeling always Krishna conscious. In the advanced stage, one falls completely in love with Krishna. Advanced stage, one falls completely in love with Krishna. This highest perfectional stage of life enables the devotee to be transferred to Krishna's abode in the spiritual sky, Golok Vrindavan, where the devotee becomes eternally happy. So, well, thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purpose to 8th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of attaining the Supreme. So Prabhupada gives the final conclusion of everything. Just be in Krishna consciousness, and then one is transferred to Krishna's abode in the spiritual sky after one leaves this body, where the devotee becomes eternally happy, means no more coming back to this body. Okay, I guess I can stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, the example was this Bhish Pitama has already decided when he's leave the body, and everybody was there, a lot of demigods, Rishi Muni, Krishna himself. But in our Kali Yuga, when top Brahman or top deity is in hospital, we pray for him that, to save his life, he can survive more. So, what is the objective behind that? Why such kind of activity took place when we know Krishna has decided that this person has to go, right? And hospital is one of the toll that before departing body, he has to go to the hospital. In 99% cases, 1% cases, person at home can leave the body. But 99% he goes to the hospital, and through the hospital he goes, leave the body. So those prayers, how that helps to bring that, is save the person and come into the life, live some more time.
See, one thing is for sure, as in Bhagavatam it is mentioned, one lives the fixed number of breaths. That's one's life. That many breaths are written in his destiny, and that's it. Well, of course, we don't know how many breaths are there. So we try to take our relatives to the hospital so he can live longer, she can live longer. But the idea of living longer is so he or she can have some more sense gratification. That's all. Because if one is a devotee, he doesn't even care. He doesn't, like Prabhupada himself, don't take me to hospital when I'm gonna leave the body. Just keep me here in Vrindavan, in the temple. I don't want my body to be poked with all those syringes and the pipes. He said, don't take me there. But that kind of Prabhupada is very attached to Krishna, so detachment for him was so natural. But generally, it is not seen in people, even old people. They're not detached. They want to live more. I want to see my grandson and grandson's wedding and granddaughter and this and that. What's the use? One should understand. And moreover, the relatives, either the children, then they will say, oh, what is the society going to say? That I didn't even take my father to the hospital when he was sick. And so I better take him to the hospital. And the hospital people just, because this I have seen in Ludhiana, they just want to make more and more money out of the dead body. They just kept the dead body in the ICU on what ventilator for 3 days, and he was dead already. They just wanted to make money out of it, dead body. So, but this knowledge is important. If we see, if we feel that our father or mother or whoever is going to leave the body, better take him to, if possible, to Vrindavan, not to a hospital. But this
But
knowledge is
Prabhuji,
not.
I know same thing happened when some Maharaj is quite ill. Lot of prayer happened. He's in a hospital. Pray. So what are those messages?
See,
You,
when a devotee is sick, so those messages, so those prayers are there. So he could stay with us and give us more inspiration to, so that we can perform more devotional service. And by
Okay.
this way, we also serving him. Ultimately, everything is in Krishna's hand. Because Prabhupada, if we remember, no, when we'll read Prabhupada Lilamrita after this, I think. First time he got sick, it was in 69. He had just started the movement, maybe 68 or 69.
Yeah.
Devotees took him to India from New York. And Prabhupada told, there were few, only handful of devotees at that time. And he said, please pray to Krishna that our spiritual master hasn't finished his work. Please let him live longer. Let him be with us. So the devotees prayed like that, and Prabhupada came back. He had actually had a paralysis attack, but he came back from India and he preached. But then when in 77 he was sick, Prabhupada said, now you pray to Krishna. If you desire, please let him live.
Right. I see.
So there was a difference. He left everything up to Krishna, whatever Krishna wants.
Yep.
So actually that should be the prayer. If you desire, Krishna, if you desire. Our job is to pray. That's all we can do.
Yeah, sure. Yes, Prabhu. I remember my mother case. She refused to go to hospital. She was there for a few days. Said no more hospital. Just be at home.
Yeah. In fact, my parents passed away. I was here in America, and somehow I spoke to both of them a day before they left their bodies. And I told them, you are about to leave, just go peacefully. They were worried what will happen. I said, no. I mean, you could not control anything in your whole life. So how do you think you can control now? What is going to happen, it will happen. So don't worry. Just leave. It's okay. We'll take care. Krishna will take care. And Krishna's mercy, both left peacefully at home, not in hospital. And happily they left.
Yes. Sure, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji,
Yes, Mata.
Prabhuji, you said that people who leave their bodies in darkness come again, and people, can you please elaborate more on that? Do the scriptures say that?
Yeah, that's a Bhagavad Gita we just studied, right?
And what is the logic behind that? What does...
And not just the people. It's for the yogis.
Yogis, okay.
Yeah. People are gonna come back again. If they haven't finished their purification, they will come back.
Okay.
But if somebody leaves when the sun is in the Uttarayan, then it's better. That's all. Or in the 15 days of waxing sun and this or that. It's better, it's good.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you, Mata. Chalo, you have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai
Hare
Shri.
Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.